Welcome, fans, to High Point, North Carolina, where the High Point Rockers take on the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs in Game 1 of a 3-game series. A pleasant good evening. It's the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs coming off of a series loss to the Staten Island Ferry Hawks, looking to get back on track this evening as Craig Stem takes the mound for High Point against Braxton Lee for the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. First pitch, it's a little bit upstairs in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Let's run through the numbers on Craig Stem momentarily, but first we'll give you the starting lineup for the Blue Crabs. 1-0 pitch, that's inside, and the count, I beg your pardon, the count now 1 ball and 1 strike on the lefty. Braxton Lee leads off. Michael Wolanski bats second. Jared Walker in the 3 spot. David Harris is the cleanup hitter. He's also the DH. 1-1 pitch, line drive toward left field. It's the left fielder, Xander Wheeler, who takes a couple of steps back and makes the catch. There is 1 away. Quincy Lattimore is, I beg your pardon, it's David Harris who bats 5th for the Blue Crabs. Zach Collier, the 6th hitter. Batting 7th, it's Joe DeLuca. Ryan Haug is doing the catching. He bats 8th. And closing out the lineup, the shortstop, Michael Baca. On the mound for the Blue Crabs, Darryl Thompson. We'll have to wait until the bottom half of the first inning to see him. Well, Stem is set. Here comes Michael Wolanski. It was 5 for 8 last series. First pitch breaking ball, swing and a miss in the count 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out in the top of the first inning. 0-1 pitch. And that's a strike in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out in the top of the first. 0-2 pitch. A little bit up and away, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Michael Wolanski had a 4 for 5 day in Game 1 of, or Game 2 of the series. Played in Game 2 of the doubleheader against Staten Island. That was on Wednesday. As the 0-2 pitch runs low and in, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes as part of an 18-1 Blue Crabs victory. Blue Crabs lost Game 1 7-5. They won Game 2 18-1. They lost Game 2 5-4. It was a valiant effort in the 8th when the Blue Crabs scored 4 runs, but could not close the gap altogether. 0-2 pitch fouled back to the netting, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. With the Blue Crabs this season, Michael Wolanski batting .332, second on the team in average, behind only David Harris, who bats north of .360. Has nearly a 20-point lead in the batting average title in the Atlantic League. 0-2 pitch, or 1-2 pitch, I should say. That's inside. And we beg your pardon, we're working off of a scoreboard where the count was wrong. The count is now right. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes on Michael Wolanski. 3-2 pitch. Foul ball off the right leg, and the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Top of the first inning. Craig Stem set. Stem, a former Blue Crab. He played with Southern Maryland back in 2019. 3-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. High fastball from Stem, and he gets a swing and a miss from Michael Wolanski. And it's 2 up and 2 down from Craig Stem in the bottom of the first inning. Let's run you around the defensive alignment for the High Point Rockers. In left field, it's Xander Wheeler. In center field, Jay Gonzalez. In right field, Ben Aklinski. From third to first, there's Michael Martinez at third, Giovanni Alfonso at shortstop, Tyler Ladendorf at second base, and at first base, it is Logan Morrison. First pitch now to Jared Walker, a called strike on the inside corner, and the count, no balls and 1 strike. Well, we're glad you could join us today on a warm evening in High Point, North Carolina. We apologize for our camera view today, folks. It's the only thing we've been able to work with so far due to some technical difficulties prior to today's game. Count no balls and 2 strikes on Jared Walker, who steps back in. Walker went through a slump toward this homestand. This one swinging a slow ground ball over toward third base, charging in. It's the third baseman Martinez who fires the first in time for the final out. A check swing from Jared Walker on a slow roller toward third, and that ends the first inning. Or the top of the first inning. We go to the bottom of the first. High Point coming to bat when we come back on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Well, we are underway in the bottom of the first inning. And Daryl Thompson ahead of the count. No balls and 2 strikes on Tyler Ladendorf. The pitch, that one is low. And the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, we're glad you could join us today. It's the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs and the High Point Rockers in Game 1 as the 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Daryl Thompson picks up his first strikeout. And there's 1 away in the bottom of the first inning. We'll run you through the Blue Crabs' defensive alignment along with the starting lineup for the High Point Rockers. Well, starting with the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs, some changes defensively, which have led to some lineup changes as well. We'll get to those after the first pitch from Daryl Thompson. Here's the offering. Swinging a high pop-up foul, third base side, and the count, no balls and 1 strike. 1 away in the bottom of the first. The strikeout. 0-1 pitch. This one swinging lifted down the left field line, and it is a foul ball. Tails foul at the last moment. The count, no balls and 2 strikes on Ben Aklinski. Aklinski in right field today for the Rockers. Well, let's run you now back through the Blue Crabs' defensive alignment. In left field, it's Jared Walker. In center field, Zach Collier. In right field, Braxton Lee. From third to first around the infield, Crosby at third, Baca at short, Wolanski at second, and at first base, Joe DeLuca. 0-2 pitch, that's low in the dirt, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. The starting lineup for High Point, it's Ladendorf who led off. He struck out. Ben Aklinski behind in the count 1-2. Logan Morrison on deck. Xander Wheel, he's the big power bat. Top 5 in the Atlantic League in home runs. 1-2 pitch, ground ball towards shortstop, fielded by Baca. He eats it up between the legs, fires the first on a hop, but it's in time as it's nicely picked by DeLuca, and there are 2 away in the bottom of the first inning. Scoreless ball game from High Point, North Carolina at Truist Point Park as Logan Morrison comes to the plate. Let's finish up that lineup, though, for the Rockers. Logan Morrison bats third. Xander Wheel bats fourth. Quincy Lattimore in the 5 spot. He's the DH. The 6 hitter is Michael Martinez batting 7th. It's Jay Gonzalez. Mike Galino bats 8th. He does the catching, and Giovanni Alfonso is the 9 hitter at shortstop. Thompson, first pitch, swinging a hard line drive foul, first base side. And the count, no balls and 1 strike. Again, we're trying to work with our video feed to see if we can get that up and running. Pitch, breaking ball, called strike on the outside corner of the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Funny enough, Darrell Thompson, someone who has traditionally struggled in the first inning this season. A lot of games when he's allowed 2 or 3 runs in the first and come back to dominate down the stretch. 0-2 pitch, low in the dirt in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. But each of his last 2 appearances has not been the case. He was 1 pitch away from an immaculate inning in his last time out a week ago. That was against Charleston. Here's the pitch. A little bit upstairs in the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom 1 from Truist Point Park. Thompson set. Here's the 2-2 offering. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Thompson with a pair of strikeouts and a ground ball to shortstop ends the bottom of the first inning. It's the Blue Crabs and the High Point Rockers who are scoreless as we go to the top of the second. We are back in the top of the second inning, a scoreless ball game. First pitch is away to David Harris in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. One-zero pitch, swinging a ground ball toward third base, eaten up by the third baseman. Martinez throw to first is not going to be in time, and the Blue Crabs have a runner on first base. With nobody out, the leadoff man on. It's going to go down as an error against the third baseman. So runner on first base for the Blue Crabs, with David Harris reaching on the error. Let's see if they can capitalize. Harris followed by Crosby and Collier here in the inning. Pitch to Collier, breaking ball. That's a called strike. And the count, no balls and 1 strike as that clips the outside corner. Oh, 1 pitch. That one's fouled back in the count, no balls and 2 strikes on the lefty Crosby. Runner on first base. Nobody out in the top of the second inning. Southern Maryland Blue Crabs coming to this one with a 5-4 record in the second half. It's not been the same story for High Point. They are 0-9. Lost yesterday to Lancaster as well. Pitch, that's low. And they count 1 ball and 2 strikes, coming off of a very controversial call that happened on Saturday. And some disagreements between the umpires. As the pitch, that one is lined first base side foul, and the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Again, fans, we apologize for some of our technical difficulties. This is the camera angle we're working with for now. We hope to get that up and running properly with the right camera angle shortly. Tossing back to first base, Craig Stem. One-two pitch. Swinging a line drive toward left field. It's a base hit. Bat runners go station to station. Runners on first and second now with nobody out in the top of the second inning. An error on the third baseman, Michael Martinez, to lead off the inning, and then a single the other way from Alex Crosby. Back-to-back base runners reach for the Blue Crabs. Runners on first and second with nobody out. Here comes Zach Collier. He's the 6th hitter today. First pitch. That's a breaking ball that never broke. Stayed high in the count. 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the pitch to Crosby. Swinging a high fly ball. Center field. Straight away. It's the center fielder Gonzalez who takes a couple steps to his left and makes the catch, and there is 1 away. 1 away in the top of the second. Still a scoreless ball game between the Blue Crabs and the Rockers. And here comes Joe DeLuca. DeLuca at first base today. The Blue Crabs have been rotating 4 to 5 positions to try to make things work between a number of different players. Jack Sundberg is the one who seems to be the odd man out tonight. But the Blue Crabs have had Zach Collier be an everyday player in center field, which moves Sundberg over to left traditionally. But with DeLuca at first base, that means Walker will be in left field if they're going to keep his bat in the lineup. And they could try to make things work if DeLuca catches. First pitch to DeLuca, swinging a ground ball into right field for a base hit. Harris applies the brakes at third, and he will hold there, but another single for the Blue Crabs. The third base runner of the inning reaches for Southern Maryland. It's 2 singles in the last 3 batters, and the bases are loaded with 1 out as Joe DeLuca rips the ball to right field. So it's DeLuca from first base. Over at second, Alex Crosby, and at third base, it's Jared Walker. Well, here comes Ryan Haug. Haug pinch hit yesterday when the Blue Crabs were trailing 5-4. He ended up striking out. Pitch, that's a called strike, and the count, no balls and 1 strike. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out, top of the second inning. Stem, set of the belt. 0-1 pitch. Called strike at the knees, and the count 0-2. Ryan Haug takes a couple of practice swings. Count, no ball and 2 strikes on the Blue Crabs catcher. Stem